All right, now that the court has risen.
Now court is ready. Court is ready
Okay,
to
court
serve
is
it. Court is
ready.
ready now.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So.
Good morning,
Good
Captain.
morning, Lily. How are you?
I'm good.
Today is Thursday.
Yes.
I'm born on a Thursday, so I'm a Thursday
Ah,
born.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian. Brian in the mix.
I know.
You're a Wednesday born, right?
No, funny enough, maybe you see. So, I read a lot about zodiac signs, and it says that Wednesdays are, what'd you say, lucky days for Geminis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
I see.
but I'm a Friday born.
Yeah, Friday born.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, and we like your day, Friday.
Oh, I love Fridays.
Yeah,
and Fridays, I don't like to be provoked.
Yeah.
Or prior to Fridays, I don't like to be provoked.
It's good to stay.
Very often prior to the Friday, I get into a different element. I don't know why, but I actually observed it over the period. So
I think
I
probably
tried
because you think that Friday is the day that you identify yourself with Friday more.
So I don't like it when somebody angers me. Because when you do, it actually unleashes the dragon in me prior to the Friday.
The limo will come out.
The limo will come out, yeah. So
Yes.
I don't like it when anything alters my day prior to Friday. So
I want to ask you this question. What is the difficult moment you have ever faced in your life?
I faced a lot of difficult moments, yeah. But one of them is probably letting go a job that I love so much.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the difficult things in my life, that I've always had to do. Yeah. It's not a pleasant thing. When you've made family, you've made friends, you've made foes,
and
lots
then you
of
had to let
we,
it go.
we always make a lot of enemies, but in the end, it's on the job.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to make waves. This morning, we'll be telling you a story, and it's not too...
another difficult moment was knowing that I'm not going to see my father anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really
that was the most difficult
difficult
moment of my adult life. Yeah.
I'm sure that it is for everybody. Once you lose somebody very close to you, I mean, you can be in your room, your corners. I remember sometimes you lose people, and then when you see people, you pretend to be okay. Yeah. But when you are alone somewhere, you rather share a lot of tears and all that. So we'll be telling you a story. So today's call today, we are bringing you a story where a widow is going through a lot. In fact, a month or two after the death of the husband, then you have your house being raised down.
Really?
When you have not even buried your husband yet. And
that's it?
So these are scenes at this somewhere I drink, and also one Theophilus Thego is being accused of masterminding the demolition of the structures that you see, and this one has to do with the outcome of he claims that he's obtained a court judgment, and the judgment is asking him to take possession. So he stormed the area with some armed men in police uniform. As to whether they are real police officers or not, it is yet to be uncovered. And some of the things that you see on your screen, bulldozers, and in fact, this is the inside of a clinic that they also ransacked, allegedly took away virtually everything in there. You see where the folders are supposed to be and all that. And so this is some of the walls that they have demolished in the area. And so we'll be speaking to the widow of one Dr. Prempe. In fact, he was a lecturer, an astute lecturer at the Ghana Medical School, and he's taught for so many years. He's also a doctor, and then he's put out a facility, and just when he passed on, the family, the wife, has to suffer situations like that. And he's been speaking to me in relation to what he has to go through, what the whole issue is about. Let's listen to Mrs. Faustina Prempe, the widow in the center of this one, how she has to deal with the trauma associated with this.
Yes, that boy, Mohammed, I don't even know how to thank him. I don't know anyway. The day they came, he came with them. He said, Mommy, I removed the things. I was with them because they told us that we have to go and take some things out. He did not understand why. It was later when he get to know. He's always coming to me every day. Anytime he sees me here, you come to me. Even when they climbed my wall, and they were putting up the wall, it was he that took the pictures and sent the pictures to me and made me to know that there was something happening in the house. That is why we took the petition to the property fraud. Up to now, nobody has told us anything.
If the president and the IGP are hearing you now, what message do you have for them?
Yes, message I'm telling the IGP and the president is, I'm a widower. So please, whatever that is due us, we should have our house in peace. We don't want any problems in this house. My husband bought the land, and even that way, he was putting up a clinic. It was there the sister died. And we had just left, come here for about less than 3 months. The sister died in May. So he stopped what he was doing and said, "Oh, the children are there. When they grow, they will come and continue." And that's why he left. There's pillars, there's foundation, everything on that land. But still, this guy that had only 0.62 that he took to the court wants to have that, have this house, have that land. Is it possible? How can people be like that? Me, all what I'm saying, they should let the Lord take his place. And whatever things that he has spoiled, he should come and pay us and give us our money and our substance back. And then apart from that, the pain, the embarrassment and all that he has done to us, he should go back to this media and go and apologize to the whole country for everybody to know that whatever he did was wrong. Even any punishment, they should give it to him. Because I'm not God that is going to give punishment. It's the Lord that will take his own course. So me, I'm not saying anything. All what I have to say is I thank God that I have lived to see this day. Even my children are not around, but God has given me the energy, the power, and the strength even to stand all these problems, to enable me even to tell you what actually happened in the house. It was just an eyesore. All our things were outside. And everybody that was passing would just thought they look at us. As if my husband went and borrowed money from somebody he has not paid. And because of that, I cannot just understand what was going on people's minds. But he was a very private person, quiet, innocent looking person, hardworking.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
that's the widow,
Mrs. Faustina Prempeh. And in fact, you can see clearly at the point in time she made the point that in her own house, she's been evicted like a squatter. And you can understand how painful that will be in relation to that. And these whole activities, the Church of Pentecost, New Jerusalem Assembly around GHOne, it's also not spared. So we're told that sometimes you have land guards in the church asking church members for money, and at some point in time, church members are scared of their life and they could not even come to court. So virtually the church members are running away. Let's go and hear from the presiding elder, Mr. Samuel Ejiri of Jerusalem Assembly, the Church of Pentecost.
Giving this land, we never knew there was any litigation going on all this year. If anything in law, we should have been a bona fide purchaser for value without notice, because we didn't know of any litigation. We were not served, nothing. You just come in one day and you start to pull out our things and you want to demolish our building. I believe the courts even don't entertain surprises. And we as a church and a society will not also entertain surprises. We are taking up the legal means, we are taking up the criminal means, but the Nungwas too, that he was claiming that the Nungwas too has mandated him to do that. Thank be to God, the Nungwas too is solidly behind the Church of Pentecost, that they have no litigation and they cannot litigate with the Church of Pentecost. They have alienated the land to us and we are rightful owners. So now we don't actually know where the issue is, but we are believing in the courts. The authorities and the structures of the church, from our area head to the national to our district pastor, they are all behind us, and we are expecting that the system will work and justice will be served the church. So that is what we have.
Yes, so the Church of Pentecost is not spared. Maybe they will have to pray and then unleash the powers of...
But where did the Church of Pentecost buy the land from?
So all of them claim, or they are making the point that the Nungwas too, it's where they bought the land from, of course. And so we've also been seeking some reaction from the Nungwas too. And also here, let's hear from Reverend Dr. J.C. Ankra, who is the administrator of the office of the Babu Uloma, what he has to say in relation to this whole matter.
The Nungwa stool has firmly disassociated itself from Mr. Tego's illegal activities. They remain resolute that they have not authorized any demolition or granted any land to him. The stool condemns these actions and states that any claims by Mr. Tego are fraudulent. The Bobulo Moshiche of Nungwa, upon becoming aware of the illegal claims meted out by Theophilus Tego, caused his lawyers to write to the registrar of the High Court, Land Division, categorically denying Theophilus Tego's claim to the lands he has unlawfully appropriated. A spokesperson for the Nungwa stool stated that the stool was deeply concerned about the unlawful actions taken by Mr. Tego and that it has no connection with his claims, and it will support all legal efforts to hold him accountable. The Nungwa stool urges the relevant authorities to investigate these unlawful activities thoroughly. They seek justice and the prosecution of all individuals involved, including the police officers who were tasked by Mr. Tego in the fraudulent appropriation of these lands. Local residents have also expressed their outrage and frustration over the lack of intervention by the authorities. Many have called for a more robust response to prevent such incidents from occurring in the near future. The Nungwa stool remains committed to protecting their ancestral lands and ensuring that justice is served. They call on the public and relevant authorities to support their cause and prevent further illegal activities by the said Tego and his accomplices. This is issued by the Nungwa stool.
Yes, so from the horse's own mouth, the Nungwa stool is as it were associating itself with that particular activities by the said Theophilus Tego. We'll be looking for him for a response to why he has to lead this whole exercise. In fact, the issues relation to land has become a thorny issue, especially even within the judiciary. At last point in time, when the Chief Justice was giving us statistics about how the cases in court, you could see clearly that land litigation, disputes over land are flooding the various courts. And he's calling for a national consensus, a national engagement to be able to deal with situations like that. Investor issues. And so because of this issue, you don't even have people come to the country to come and invest. Because you buy one land and you know definitely that tomorrow when you start developing the land, another person will rise and say, that land is mine. And so the little you spend on buying the land, you end up spending much more to be able to fight or protect the land, because you have to litigate one person, the other. So issues relating to land, sometimes buildings are like we saw in the case of Mrs. Faustina Prempe, and then the manner in which they have to battle with all these things. But of course, I think that those in charge have to sit up, everybody who matters in this situation, so that in fact they're asking the IGP and the president to intervene so that the law will take its course. And we hope that they will take note of this and then make sure that the family, in fact, to make the point that my husband is down, at the point that she's not even buried him, she has to go through all this situation. It's not a pleasant experience for anyone, and that should not be visited on anybody.
That's quite sad. Yes. But what's coming up today?
Yes, so the courts are on vacation, but the circuit and the district court are still sitting, and the vacation court. And what is interesting about the high court that are sitting as vacation court, most of the sittings are virtual. So Lily, you can just sit here and the studio here and join whatever court that you want to join and participate and proceed. Once you visit the judicial website, all the courts that are sitting they have them listed and the processes that you have to follow. But today, you notice that sometimes when people are arrested in relation to drugs and other issues, and then they are found culpable and they convict them and sentence them, sometimes they seize. In fact, they seize these drugs. Today, we are having the opportunity to see some of these drugs being destroyed by way of being set ablaze on fire. So from the circuit court today, we'll have the experience of visiting that and seeing that experience. The number
we hope they will not be swapped.
Well, that's another issue.
This is Ghana
so that
anyway,
you see a cocaine, and then before you realize it turns to powder. We've had that story being told so many times. So today we'll be there to see how it will be carried from the court to the place where it will be destroyed. Our cameras will follow that, and tomorrow we'll bring to you whatever will happen in relation to that, and all that will be happening in court as far as the vacation is concerned.
Okay. Thank you very much, Captain. As always, it's a pleasure having you. That's it for court today. Why doctors don't keep this hair? I know a lot of doctors who like to have fun and have parties all over the place.
Maybe the PhD holders. They don't have time to go to the salon, probably.
Well, he's in opposition. What do you expect? Anyway, Dr. Ezekiel and Dr. Sabiaye. Dr. Ezekiel is a member of the NPP communications team, and Dr. Sabiaye is a member of the NDC communications team. So it's a battle of the doctors this morning. Good morning, docs.
Good morning. Good morning, Lily.
How are you doing? Good to have you.
Good to see you.
This is my first time engaging you, even though you've been here a number of times.
Yes.
Okay, so our first issue, yesterday the NDC held a press conference, Moment of Truth, and one of the critical issues was the issue of sole sourcing. They accused the government of sole sourcing government contracts to Dr. Bawumia's brother. I've heard a few comments by some members of the NPP, particularly Anthony Kabo, who has come out to refute that allegation. Let me start with you, since it was your party's.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me first of all say good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my co-panelists, Dr. Ezekiel GHOne and yourself. I am happy to be part of this debate. I've always wanted to be part of this debate.
Why?
To expose the stinking corruption, to uncover the insulting levels of nepotism under this regime, particularly the family members of the MPP's leader and flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, at the instance of Resource Access Limited, which is a company owned by Dr. Bawumia's brother. I am particularly happy to be part of this debate because yesterday I was at a press conference. I was sobbed in tears. I was extremely scandalized because, one would ask, why? What wrong have the people of Ghana done to deserve this sheer wickedness, to deserve this greediness on the part of leaders who hop from one point to another to campaign? I was extremely scandalized as our national communications officer poured through the facts. These are cold facts, incontrovertible facts. And this morning, I don't think that anybody in the MPP can defend this act because it is simply cruel. But you see, judging from the facts available, I am in no doubt. I have come to the inevitable conclusion that the vice president, the flag bearer, and the leader of the MPP, Alhaji Bawumia, does not only have expertise in peddling lies, does not only have expertise in deceitful promises, he actually engages in the most obscene form of corruption and nepotism. And you see, he is learning so religiously from President Kufuor. Do you know why? He says, show me your friend and let me show you your character.
Why do you say he's learning from President Kufuor?
Okoto and Wanuma.
But that's not his son.
A crab. These are proverbial statements. A crab does not give birth to a bird. And finally, you say, baby, I will join Jinano. Oho. And then the Bejana. President Kufuor has been accused of corruption and nepotism. One would have thought that Bawumia will learn or will not learn from what President Kufuor has done. Because if you look at their statements in opposition, it is clearly at variance with what they are doing. Because in opposition, on 8 September 2016, Dr. Bawumia took it to Twitter and said the overpricing of contracts through the use of sole sourcing is very typical of the John Mahama NDC. President Kufuor on 23rd August 2016, he said the era of sole sourcing will come to an end under an NPP regime. They came into power barely a month. Bawumia went and stood on the podium and said, we will abort rampant sole sourcing. This is the Ghana Web publication. Again, on 29th May 2017, Bawumia said, don't use sole sourcing. Bawumia to his appointees. In fact, finally, on December 2018, Bawumia said, we promise to move away from predominance of sole sourcing to tendering or procurement. Once the vice president took this position about sole sourcing, it was instructive that when he assumed the reins of powers, he would do differently. Only for him to have his hand and knee and neck in sole sourcing and inflated contract, not to any other person, but to his biological brother. A man he comes from the same womb from. Because the facts available show that the Sunyani Airport was awarded to Resource Access Ghana Limited, a company owned by the brother of Dr. Bawumia, Abraham Bawumia. The airport was already in existence. The contract was given at a tune of 52 million Ghana cedis, 520 billion old Ghana cedis. This is an airport that was already in existence. The works that were done there was an extension of the runway from 1,200 meters to 1,400, only an additional 200 meters. It's like from your studio to your main gate. They said they will repair the apron to accommodate small aircrafts. Do you know an apron where plane actually parks? Small. They just went to patch the place. They did minimal renovation at the terminal building at a cost of a whopping 520 billion cedis, an airport that was already in existence. Meanwhile, President Mahama actually built a fresh airport in Ho at a paltry 100 million, a fresh airport. It had a runway of 1,900 meters, a fresh runway, as compared to MPP's 200-meter runway. He built an ultra-modern terminal with VIP and VVIP lounge. In fact, President Mahama's airport in Ho actually is able to take care of 400 passengers a day. The Sunyani Airport takes only 100 passengers a day. He built a brand new apron to accommodate aircrafts. In fact, as part of the contract, he built 9 kilometers of accessory roads around the airport at a cost of only 100 million. A brand new airport. But Bawumia is renovating, only going to add paint and cement to part of the airport. Cost 520 billion to the benefit of his brother. And if you think that President Kufuor is corrupt or nepotistic, Bawumia is 100 times more corrupt and nepotistic. Again, as if that was okay. He awarded 2 juicy contracts to his brother's company through sole sourcing. Nobody was allowed to even tender. To a tune of 83 million Ghana cedis. And if you read the Auditor General's report, you will cringe. The Auditor General, if you read the paragraph 54 and paragraph 60 of the Auditor General's report, and I want to crave your indulgence to read to the hearing of our viewers.
Please go
It says, paragraph 50, it says, Cocoa Board awarded 266 road contracts for the Cocoa Roads Improvement Project Phase 2, measuring a total of 4,000 kilometers for rehabilitation, upgrading, and construction in cocoa growing areas. Out of the 266 contracts awarded, 33 were through competitive tendering, 175 were through single source procurement, 58 through restricted tendering. Thus, 87% of the roads contracts were not procured through competitive tendering. And I go on to read, he said, although the use of restricted tendering and sole sourcing saved Cocoa Board some time, it would have taken, time would have taken to evaluate a large number of tenders. Our analysis showed, and this is important, our analysis showed that this method cost Cocoa Board about 100 times more and that the use of national competitive tendering in terms of cost per kilometer of roads. From table 5, we deduced that the roads procured under national competitive tendering were 1.5 to 3 times cheaper than sole sourced. The report says that the sole source contracts cost 3 times more than the contracts that were awarded through the national competitive tendering. And all these monies, to a tune of 218 million, 2.3 trillion OCDs were awarded or was awarded to Dr. Bawumia's brothers campaign. And I have no doubt, nobody in this country can convince me that those monies are not being used to fund Dr. Bawumia's campaign. Because this is a direct brother. The company has no track record to offer superior services in the contract that they have been given. And Bawumia in this country has always criticized sole sourcing only for him to come to power and actually be the foremost proponent of the practice. And we in the NDC believe that the reason why we are here today is because of massive corruption, stinking corruption that has completely overwhelmed this country. How is it that you allow your brother to be given such contract? In fact, major contractors who actually have track records in this country, some of them are sick in bed. Some of them have run away from this country because banks are chasing them. Because this government, at the last reckoning, in December 2023, owed contractors to a tune of 43 billion Ghana cedis. In fact, this year they have added extra 4.3 billion. Whilst these people were suffering, Dr. Bawumia's brother, on daily basis, were being paid billions of Ghana cedis for road contracts at an inflated cost. But this is a man who wants to lead Ghana. As vice president, look at what you are doing. There's a saying that if a man plucks feathers from a tortoise, what will he do when he lays hands on a fowl? As vice president, look at the sort of corruption, look at the sort of nepotism you are engaging in. What will you do when you become a president? That's why I'm telling you that he is learning from a President Kufuor at even a faster pace. Because one would have thought that he only has expertise in peddling lies, not knowing that he has also graduated from the class of nepotism and corruption. And I mean, I am extremely sad to hear this because these are state monies. If you look at the Auditor General's report, it tells us that the contract that were given to Dr. Bawumia's brother to a tune of about 218, if it went through the national competitive tendering, Ghana would have had to pay just about 60 million. But we have wasted 140 million. Do you know the number of people in this country who could have benefited from this? Go to the University of Ghana campus. Students have to pay 10,000, 12,000 Ghana cedis to be in two in a room. These monies could have been used to build hostels for the students at a lower rate. Today, people are suffering. People are barely able to eke out a decent living. But you have family members of the vice president actually feasting. They are making millions from the state's coffers at the expense of the ordinary Ghanaian who queued under the scorching sun to vote for you. Now they vote for you and they have to bear the brunt of your wickedness and greediness. And so this morning, I'm extremely sad. And I can tell you on authority, there are thousands of deals that in the coming days, the NDC will uncover to the sight and hearing of the majority of Ghanaians. And it will shock you how a man who stands on a platform and says that he does not like sole sourcing, he does not like inflated contracts, but actually does the contrary. He sings from both sides of his lips. In one breath, there should be no sourcing. Sole sourcing means stealing. In another breath, he is the one actually perpetrating sole sourcing and inflation of contract. And I think that It is very, very unfortunate. Many Ghanaians watching us this morning are sad about this happening. Yesterday at the press conference, a lot of media men were sharing, they were shedding tears. Behind, yes, I was there. They were shedding tears. Because some of them, they know they have committed themselves to make Ghana better, to let the people of Ghana know that this is what is going on. They are the ones that are at the receiving end of the economy. They are the ones that do interviews. A man was crying yesterday. We had to console him. We had to console him because he does not understand why on a daily basis he has contractors calling him that media men, please help us. Please come to our aid. Please make sure that government hears that they owe us. In another breath, the vice president's brother only sits in his room and make calls, and he receives billions of Ghana cedis payments into his account. It is very, very unfortunate this morning.
Dr. GHOne.
Were you at the presser yesterday?
No, I wasn't.
So you didn't cry?
That's a very interesting question to ask.
It
I'll have to ask my colleagues.
Isn't it laughable? I'm sure Ibrahim was there, so...
Ibrahim was not.
Oh,
It was Emmanuel Bigu.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask him.
We can ask Emmanuel how many press men were crying yesterday. Good morning, Lily. Good morning to Sammy. And good people of Ghana who have joined us today. Listening to Sammy was quite interesting. At least I've had to laugh, my first laughter for the day. And he makes some wild allegation. And you can sense from his presentation the depth of desperation within the camp of the NDC. My brother speaks about university students suffering. And they are sleeping in 10 in a room. 10 in a room.
I didn't say 10 in a room.
Is that true?
2 in a room. We've had that. I entered university when? 2010. Who was president then? That's the time they introduced the in, out, out,
was
out
2 in a room,
policy.
12,000 Ghana cedis per person.
In, out, out, out policy. The university had so much pressure on our hostel facilities that instead of the usual in, out, out, in, where you do your first year in the traditional halls, second and third years outside, and the final year you come in under your reigns, under NDC. When Mr. Mahama was vice president, we started instituting the in, out, out, out policy. And during his reign as president, he connived with the education minister, his running mate, to impose electricity tariffs on students. Such wickedness and such insensitivity. Which mother will sit at home and tell the child who is not working, rather in school, that she, the mother, is supporting with feeding, she, the mother, is supporting with accommodation and monthly stipend to take care of himself, and impose electricity tariff on such a child? But it happened under you, Sammy. Your running mate imposed electricity and water tariffs on students, the UPSA declaration. And I urge all university students listening to us today, I urge all Ghanaian youth listening to us today, that the insensitivity of the Mahama and the General Opoku-Agyeman administration imposition of electricity and water bills on university students, 25th March 2015 in UPSA. In fact, if you look at the attendees who were present at the time they made the policy, formalized it, the first name on the list is Professor Opoku-Agyeman. Such insensitivity. You are here talking about students suffering in university. At least those students today, they've had the benefit of free education. They've had the benefit of Dr. Baumia coming in to push for the cancellation of the guarantor system. So such students can at least go to school today, even if you don't have money. With your Ghana card, you don't need Lily, you don't need myself, you don't need Sammy to guarantee for you. That is a government that thinks about the people. Coming back to the topic, then this is so desperate, and you can feel their desperation in their campaign. You can feel it. They don't have any message for the Ghanaian. So the tag and the conclusion of their flag bearer being the most corrupt and incompetent president in the history of the country is still with them, and they have not had any purgative. No amount of purgative under this sun can curb and cleanse him of the corruption tag. You are here mentioning Nana Akufo-Addo, and they tried bastardizing the Akufo-Addo administration, calling him corrupt. They tried staining him with corruption. It didn't work.
Is it just
so they have graduated.
You had, sorry to cutting, you had a what do you call it? a special prosecutor that was appointed by President Akufo-Addo, calling him the mother serpent of
They
corruption.
say special prosecutor. They say special prosecutor. President Akufo-Addo's term is ending. They say special prosecutor. I told you the last time that he told the whole world that Mr. Mahama and his administration were so corrupt that he feared that after Mr. Mahama, in the next 20 years after his presidency, he feared no Northerner could be made president in the country because of the bad and corrupt precedent Mr. Mahama has set. So if it's about special prosecutor, Mr. Martin Namidu,
many people have
if it's about that statement, if it's about special prosecutor making such statements and it's anything to go by, then he's trying to tell you that don't bring Mr. Mahama back. He set the worst precedent for any Northerner, that he was so corrupt. Those are not my words. They say Martin Namidu. And they say Martin Namidu told the whole world that Prof. Mills gave some small job for Mr. Mahama to do. And just shortly before he died, Prof. Mills had instituted a committee to investigate his own vice president. You know what that means? You have a child or you have an assistant who comes to work with you and you delegate some of your functions to that child. And you could suspect that girl or young man so much that you needed to set an investigative body to investigate that child. What does it mean? It showed
It's not accountability.
Accountability. It showed how much Prof. Mills didn't trust Mr. Mahama.
Okay.
And it showed how much Prof. Mills
Please allow him.
it showed
He was
how
quiet
much
while
Prof.
we were
Mills
talking.
feared his own vice. That he knew and he felt he was so corrupt that he needed people to come sit around the table to investigate him. That's Mr. Mahama. And you talk about corruption. Go to the UK House of Commons. I always say that Mr. Mahama is the only president that has set an unprecedented corruption scandal around him. So much so that he is a disgrace to the international community when it comes to corruption and its allegations in Ghana. We have a UK House of Commons representative who made the allegation that the Majaro deal that sought to smuggle cocoa out of Ghana, Mr. Mahama was involved and he was bribed $40,000. It's in the UK's House of Commons records that any student of international relations, that any student of politics, any student of law can go to the UK House of Commons today and read about Mr. Mahama. His records of corruption is there. Talk of the Airbus scandal. We talk of the Ford gift that was given to him, painting his face on buses to the tune of millions of Ghana cedis. Talking about corruption. So if corruption is anything to go by, then Sami from the NDC seated here today is telling us that no Ghanaian should attempt voting for Mr. Mahama. And you know what? All these things happened during his first term, Lily. All these things happened during his first term. So if, when he had the opportunity to come back, he had all these corrupt acts around him, tainted his image, what would he do to us? What will he do to us? Should we make any mistake or bring him back? When he had the opportunity to contest again, he was so much corrupt that his image, his face, his name, everywhere in the world is tainted. And that person wants to come back. And because the NDC has realized that their candidate is corrupt and there's no amount of purgative that he can take to cleanse himself of corruption, they need to set the equilibrium for both candidates in terms of corruption. They started with Dr. Baumia and tried finding fault with him. They made a forensic audit and forensic investigations on the person and persona of Dr. Baumia, and they found nothing. And I always say that last week I was here.
Yeah.
And I asked you, we can send Dr. Baumia out. We can send Mr. Mahama out to the public. And we can ask Ghanaians which of the two is corrupt. Your guess is as good as mine. Dr. Baumia is not corrupt. He's incorruptible, and he will never be corrupt. And he's proud to stand on the platform. UPSA lectures he had 7th February. He told the whole world that I'm incorruptible, and I'm not corrupt. That was a challenge he was throwing to his opponent. That if you have
But was it
any
not the same
act
challenge that has
of
brought
corruption,
out the soul sourcing?
I'll come there. If you have any act of corruption against me, come and tell me. Dr. Baumia is not corrupt. He will never be corrupt. And he's training us, his disciples, to look at Ghana and the interest of the country first. Let Sami sit here today and tell the whole world that his candidate is not corrupt. I'll be able to cede my time to him, to confidently look in the eyes of Ghanaians, look in the eyes of God that he prays to every morning. When I met him here at the corridor, he was praying in the morning. So I'm sure he was praying to God. The God he prays to, I dare Sami to look in the face of God, to tell the whole world that his candidate, Mr. Mahama, is not corrupt, I can confidently hit my chest and I can put my hand in fire for Dr. Bawumia and tell the whole world that he's not corrupt, he's never been corrupt, and he will never be corrupt. And such is the man that we need to lead us. Because we say leadership is cause, and everything else is effect. Aboa no be pra infinity is the head that matters. Is the man you are bringing to the presidency? Does he have the integrity? The man you are bringing to the presidency, does he have the respect of the people in terms of his personal behavior in office vis-a-vis corruption? And that's what will trickle down to everyone. So whoever we elect come December 7 is very, very critical. Is the person corrupt? It will show his administration. Is the person have integrity? It will reflect in his administration. So I thought that when the NDC parliamentarians had the opportunity to do the presser, they would come and explain to Ghanaians that Dr. Bawumia has stood on the platform and has told that he's not corrupt. So they were also coming to us to tell us that our candidate is not corrupt. You are talking about Dr. Bawumia's brother. Let's go down the history lane. Dr. Bawumia's brother has a contracting company. No two ways about it. Do you know when he got his license to start operations in Ghana? 2006. Dr. Bawumia was nowhere close to politics. He was somewhere doing his business, Bank of Ghana or elsewhere outside, doing his business. He was nowhere close to politics. 2006 is when the brother got his first certificate to be a contractor. And you graduate, in terms of contractors, you graduate. Your license will permit the kind of work you can do. Do you know when Dr. Bawumia's brother got his highest license ever that anyone can get in Ghana? It was 2013, 2014, under Mr. Mahama. They saw him to be competent. They saw him to be good. And they saw him to have the integrity as a contractor, that he got his highest license, A1, B1. He started with A3, B3, graduated to A1, B1, the highest form of contract license you can have in this country, under Mr. Mahama. And you know when he ever got his juiciest contract in this country? Under Mr. Mahama, 10 million Ghana cedi in 2014. The NDC gave Dr. Bawumia's brother his highest contract ever he has received in this country. $10 million in this country was awarded to him under NDC. So the person you claim is getting such contracts, the person you claim is corrupt, registered his business when Dr. Bawumia was not in politics, got his highest contract licensing under Mr. Mahama, had his juiciest contract under Mr. Mahama and the NDC. Are you telling us that?
How much was the contract?
$10 million. $10 million. He's never had such contract again, ever since. So if you believed that he was not capable, if you believed that he didn't have the technical and the financial wherewithal to be a contractor of a higher standing in the country, why would you upgrade him to the highest licensing in the country for a contractor? Why would you give him his juiciest contract ever in this country? $10 million under Mr. Mahama. Were you conniving with him to be corrupt under you? Was the NDC conniving with Dr. Bawumia's brother to be corrupt under them? They don't have any message. After trying to paint bad the image of the president, after trying so hard and finding nothing with Dr. Bawumia, now let's look at those around him and see who we can at least accuse of any corrupt act. And let's link that person to the image of Dr. Bawumia. They should be ashamed of themselves that they put him under the microscope and they found nothing about him. Indeed, if they found anything about him, they would have organized a series of press conferences to expose him. But the mere fact that they are looking around him, people close to him, to point certain fingers at them, clearly shows that they couldn't find anything with Dr. Bawumia. I was expecting them to have mounted the platform and tell us how Mr. Mahama, after he was voted out of power, with just about 10 days, 9 days to leave office, he awarded 56% of our bauxite reserve as a country to his brother. Is that not corruption? Is that not state capturing? When you were voted out of power in 2016 and you had barely 2 weeks to leave office, you wielded 56% of our bauxite reserve to your blood brother. It took the Supreme Court of Ghana to reverse that decision. Sammy, if you want to know who is corrupt, if you want to know whose activities amounts to nation wrecking, do not look anywhere. Look within your own fold. How would you award contract to the tune of 56% of our bauxite reserve to your own brother? The whole bauxite reserve, mineral reserve we have in the country. Mr. Mahama, with just less than 2 weeks to leave office, awarded the tune of 56% of our bauxite reserve as a country to his own blood brother. And you remember after the June 3rd disaster at Circle, the machines his brother used to drench the Odo were state-procured machines. You procured machines, contracting machines, road works machines with our monies. And after procuring those machines with our monies, you gifted them to your brother. And your brother turned around to come and tell us that he was doing us good. And he had opted to drench the Odo River for us. Only for us to go and realize that the machines he was using were state-procured machines. Sammy, you want to talk about corruption? Your candidate, have you pegged him off corruption? Sammy, why would you use our monies to buy those machines? And instead of gifting them to the state, AMA was crying. In fact, MPs came out wailing that even if you have used our monies to buy those machines, give it to the state for the state to use to repair our roads. Neil and Van der Poel told us that AMA doesn't have the capacity to use those machines. But a single individual, in the person of Mr. Mahama's brother, was gifted those machines. And in the end, after drenching the Odo as a gift supposedly to us, using our own machines we procured with our own monies, the MPs found those machines doing his own private work. You used our monies to procure machines, and you use those machines for your private work. What is more corrupt than that? So I was expecting that when the NDC MPs mounted the platform to address the press, they will come and tell us how Mr. Mahama gifted our bauxite reserve to his brother. I thought they would come and tell us why he used our monies to procure machines and gave them to his brother, and they were later found at a private site doing a private business. I thought that when they had the opportunity to address the press on corruption, they will come and tell us why Mr. Mahama received a Ford gift from a contractor he gave a road contract to, and he insulted the whole Ghana and told us that the contractor from Burkina Faso had done so marvelously well that the road he contracted was better than any road any Ghanaian contractor can contract. And you know what, Lily? Just after 6 months of the contract, the road being done, we went on the road and potholes all over the road. We are talking about the Sunyani Airport. Amandi, you know Amandi? They constructed the Dubai interchange, right? Yeah. They opted to do the airport renovation and the roads work for $24 million. Dr. Baumia's brother did everything for $8 million. Everything. And as part of the contract, he was supposed to patch the runway. But he looked at the road and realized that no, patching them because they have potholes will not meet international standard. So he renovated and reconstructed the entire stretch of road and ancillary roads that join the main runway to the airport. He reconstructed the entire stretch of road. It wasn't part of the contract, but he thought that no matter what, even if I come and I renovate the airport and I bring in all the goodies that the airport needs, and our road does not meet international standards, it brings down the image and professional image of the facility. So even though, as part of the contract, I was just supposed to patch the runway, he removed everything, all asphalt on the road, and laid 2 layers of asphalt for the road. And do you know what the Domahene said on the renovation that was done? That this is one of the best interventions any government has made in the Bunu region. That is the man, Dr. Baumia's brother. So you can sit here and lie and tell lies that some media men came and they were crying. How would any media man go for any engagement with any NDC person and cry because of corruption when there is Mr. Mahama? So on the scale of balance, Lily, they realized that their candidate does not pass the moral test on corruption. So they are trying so hard to bring Dr. Baumia into the fold of corruption. That's why they will sit and they will cook all stories about him. But the moment it doesn't fly, let's look around him and look at anyone closer to him. And let's see how we can bring that person who is anywhere close to Dr. Baumia into the fold of corruption. And let's link Dr. Baumia to such person. But it won't fly. Dr. Baumia is focused. He's not doing bubra kind of campaign. He's focused. He's doing his campaign. If you have any message, even through your parliamentarians, come and tell Ghanaians, come and tell us how the Koko Bon Kiti will change our fortunes. You know, Mr. Mahama has recently retweeted a confirmed thing.
Yeah.
He can't even run away from a confirm and bet. We don't know what is Mr. Mahama and poultry. Then that confirmed resurrection you want to bring. The fufu at 3 a.m. and the wachi at 2 a.m. Come and tell us how those things will help us. Come and explain to us how you corrupt this, the corruption that you were tainted with. Come and tell us how you are going to metamorphose into a new person. So much so that your own communicators cannot even vouch for you when they have the opportunity. Come and tell us how you will change as a person. Come and tell us how the Majaro scandal will never happen again should Ghanaians give the opportunity. Come and tell us how the confirmed policy will not happen again under the presidency. Come and tell us how the Ford gift that was given to you as a bribe after giving a contract to a contractor from Burkina Faso, why it won't happen again. Come and tell us why the Airbus scandal around you will not happen again. And come and vouch for Ghanaians to trust you, that you are not corrupt and you will not be corrupt. And even if you were corrupt, you will change your ways. The NDC is not even seeking to paint their own flag bearer in that light. They are rather looking for things that are not existing about Dr. Bawumia, painting him to be corrupt, and no matter what, it will not wash. And I'll end with a quote. I'll paraphrase it by Mr. Kofi Bento. That during hard times, he would always choose Dr. Bawumia because he has shown mettle and he has shown that he's not corrupt. And anyone watching us today, anyone at the sound of our voices listening to us today, should please take this from me. Dr. Bawumia has dared anyone across the globe that come and prove to me that I'm corrupt. And indeed, when the alarm bells were sounded, the heavens became quiet, the earth became quiet, NDC became quiet, and they became like Pontius Pilate. They washed their hands off and said that, Dr. Bawumia, you can't touch your integrity. And by so doing, they have lifted the name of Dr. Bawumia to every part of the world. And we know him, that when we want a leader that will steer the affairs of the country, a leader that we can trust, a leader that will have the opportunity and can have the moral confidence to tell his subordinates that do not be corrupt. Look at me and learn. Just as Peter told us, we Christians. Share me, not sue me. Send me show Christ. Dr. Bawumia is the only Peter that we can watch and learn, because to him and with him, he is not corrupt and he will never be corrupt. The allegation about him and his brother will not stand the test of time. The NDC has not shown anywhere that any procurement law or procedure was breached in any contract at all, if they exist. That was awarded to Dr. Bawumia's brother. And I'll end once again by reiterating that it is under the NDC that Dr. Bawumia's brother got his highest form of licensing to construct anything in this country. So that the NDC, that Dr. Bawumia's brother had his juiciest contract to the tune of $10 million was under the NDC. So if today that same person is helping us constructing our airports, redoing our roads, and doing benevolent work, the people of Ghana, to the tune of 8 million years ago, under the NDC. He was doing works, and you saw him to be credible, and you are awarding him with juicy contract to the tune of $10 million. Are you saying, therefore, that under you were giving him those contracts because you were also corrupt? Are you saying, therefore, that under you gave him the highest form of licensing because you were corrupt and you wanted to do corruption, or you wanted to perpetuate corruption under you with Dr. Bawumia's brother? It won't wash. The integrity of Dr. Bawumia cannot be tainted. And the NDC, no matter the microscope they use, no matter the resolution of any microscope they use, they will never find it like Dr. Bawumia. And I'm proud of Dr. Bawumia as an MPP. I'm proud as his follower to tell the whole world that he's incorruptible. And Ghanaians, in choosing a leader they can trust with our fans, in choosing a leader they can trust to have that oversight responsibility over his subordinates, is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We should all vote for him, not a man who cannot even vouch for himself. Not a man, when he was asked a question at BBC, whether or not he was corrupt, he couldn't even answer. And he asked the journalist, are you asking me I'm corrupt in my private life as Mr. Mahama or as president? Sami should tell the whole world why his candidate is not corrupt. Sami should come and debunk the Majaro deal. He should come and debunk the Airbus scandal. He should come and debunk the Ford gift that was given to him. Okay. Dr. Bawumia, don't go there. Everyone knows.
Okay.
No. So I won't waste time to completely expose Ezekiel. And I'll begin from here. You see, they say when you point one finger at somebody,
the remaining
comes to you. And the message is as important as the messenger. He who comes with equity must come with clean hands. He, Ezekiel, is the locus classicus of corruption.
How so?
He was the president of Federation of Ghana Medical Students Association, 2015-2016. He was investigated for involving himself in acts of corruption.
Which acts of corruption?
He went and took monies from Bank of Ghana to be doing some cervical cancer screening for the medical students. Nobody saw the money.
How much was involved?
He didn't declare it. The committee investigated. The report is there. The chairman of that committee was Mr. Dr. GHOne Busuri. And he can tell me whether he was not investigated as a president of FGMSA. He has gone down in history as the worst FGMSA president ever. And he, as a tender age, as a medical, was investigated for acts of corruption. He is on TV pointing accusing fingers at somebody.
Tell people why your candidate is not corrupt.
Please.
Please allow
Your
me.
party has been in power for 8 years. You leveled all manner of corruption allegations against President John Dramani Mahama. Today, President Mahama walks a free man. Not a single investigation has been done that has proven that President Mahama has ever taken and has ever done anything in contravention of the laws of Ghana as a president. If you have not been able to prove that for 8 years, it underscores your uselessness. While you are in power, you should forever hold your peace. He is mentioned Martin Amidu. When Martin Amidu went for an interview as special prosecutor for the vet, and they asked him, all the things you said about the endings, what is your proof? Do you know what he said? He said all of them are perceptions. And they were his perceptions. He didn't have any proof. But as for President Akufo-Addo, he said he is the mother serpent of corruption. He eats, drinks, and swims corruption. And that he is the worst president ever in the Republic of Ghana. Martin Amidu bolted with his tail in between his legs and ran away from the office of special prosecutor because he said a mother serpent of cobra was chasing him. And it was in the name of President Akufo-Addo. You are here mentioning corruption. You see, there is no difference between an MPP serial caller and an MPP full soldier and the top echelons of the MPP. My brother is a very intelligent person. Today, he has chosen or he has shown that there is no difference between him and the MPP full soldier. He is mentioning Ibrahim Mahama. President Ibrahim Mahama's company, engineers and planners.
As the leader of the party and our flag bearer cannot be questioned. You've passed him through the mail. You've tested him. You didn't get anything. Now you are on a personal banter.
Oh, what is personal?
now you're on
What
a
is
personal
personal?
banter.
Please,
Dr.
he
Bawumia,
will respond.
Dr.
Please allow him.
Bawumia is not corrupt, and he will not be corrupt. His public life is there. Dr. Bawumia has passed the test of time. Once again, the brother has had his juiciest contract anywhere under your administration. You gave him the highest form of licensing, once again, under your administration. He had a $10 million contract under your administration. So today, if he's doing whole airport renovation and roadworks for $8 million, something that another company had opted to do for $24 million, he came in with his company, tendered with $8 million. And you are saying what? Dr. Bawumia has single-handedly given his brother any contract. Dr. Bawumia is nowhere close to awarding contracts. Dr. Bawumia is nowhere close to awarding any form of contracts anywhere. His brother, the things are there. If indeed you guys are fond of churning out information and allegation, kindly take Dr. Bawumia and his brother to court. If there is anything he has done that's against any procurement rules, take Dr. Bawumia and his brother to court. Go to any investigative body. Shraj is there, Iyoko is there, special prosecutor is there. If there is anything Dr. Bawumia's brother has done untoward, you have the opportunity to go and make your case. Let things be done properly. As
Now,
for
he
what
made an allegation.
not you have said I'll respond to him in due time.
No, but he made it here. So
It is not true. It is not true, and I'll respond to him in due time.
No, but
I am saying it that it is not
were
true.
you investigated?
There was no investigation. There was no investigation. There was no investigation. It was a matter of a misunderstanding that occasioned during the time of our work. There's no investigation, and the matters are there. I'll respond to Sammy.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on to our next topic.
Give me just 1 minute. Give me just 1 minute.
30 seconds. I can only grant you 30 seconds. We have to move to our next topic.
You see, Ezekiel has completely exposed himself once again. He cannot dispute that. I have mentioned to you the chairman of the committee that.
But he says it's not true.
I'm saying that the chairman's name is Dr. John F. Busuri. He should go and ask. They investigated him.
And what was the outcome of the investigation?
What was the outcome?
The case is still in court.
Have you been going to court?
I've not been to court.
Okay.
The only time I've been to court was to go and testify
He said he has never
for a
been-
medical report I've written.
He said he has never been in court.
The juvenile court. The only time.
The
only time you go because you can't defend yourself and your party. You go and fish on truth, come and sit on platform to spread lies about people. I've never been to court. The only time I've been to court was to go and defend a medical report I have written.
The next time I come here, I will give you. I will let your producers publish the reports of the investigation that occurred under his leadership, where he was exposed.
Which year was this? 2015?
2015, 2016.
Okay. You
Yes.
said a misunderstanding. What misunderstanding was it?
He claims, the matter is in court. We will settle it in court.
Oh,
and
yes.
Sammy will come and prove the rate. He should bring the rate. He should bring the rate. Now you want to go personal. When you come, you can't defend.
Relax. You said President Mahama has taken forward. Meanwhile, Shraj, you know that Shraj has investigated the matter and cleared President Mahama of wrongdoing. But you are happy to mention.
Relax.
You are happy to mention Ibrahim Mahama.
Sammy will prove,
That's very personal.
Sammy will bring any rate of someone's to us.
He says he'll bring the
Bring
documents.
the rate.
The next time I come here, I'll bring it.
Sammy, bring the rate.
I will bring it.
Bring the rate.
So,
And
so
he should tell us.
next week, viewers,
He
next
should tell us
week,
when I went to
Dr.
court.
Samiaye will be back here in the
Yes,
studio.
with the rate.
Of course.
He
With
said I've been to
all
court.
evidences
He said I've been to
adduced,
court.
yeah.
He said I've been to court. He should bring the rate. Yes.
Okay. So let's move on to our next topic. The finance minister at a meeting with the press and stakeholders apologized to Ghanaians for the undue hardship, especially with the debt restructuring. And a number of people have reacted to it, especially bondholders who said, well, it is gratifying. However, the pain is still being felt. What's your reaction to it?
I understand where the finance minister is coming from. And of course, the president and the vice president, all persons associated with the MPP, have of course had the opportunity to empathize with the good people of Ghana when things started experiencing some difficulties in the economy post-COVID. We saw some difficulties once again, and things got somehow a bit uneasy for Ghanaians. We saw how inflationary figures went to and where we are now. And during the process, government had to take certain hard decisions. We went to the IMF for support post-COVID, and as part of the conditionalities, we were supposed to restructure our domestic and external debt. And part of the restructuring of our domestic debt means that good people of Ghana had to swallow some bitter pill with the domestic debt exchange program. And in the course of that, some persons who had their monies in bonds, some institutions who had their monies in bonds were made or were asked to voluntarily, opt for some restructuring with their debt. Your capital is not touched. However, the payment of the dividends that your investment will yield were spread across some period. And because of that, obviously, we saw the difficulties that occasioned to the people of Ghana, those that were involved. We saw some people picketing at the finance ministry and the difficulties they had to go through. In the end, in Chi, we say that Akokoba time, Nenai Etiaba, but in Kumuba. It's just to say that, indeed, there were difficult times, and government had to take some difficult decisions. And the decision government took was not so palatable. So it beholds on a good leader, one that is empathetic and sympathetic, to come and apologize if there were any shortcomings or anything that was done that was not in good tune to the people. So I totally align myself with the statement by the finance minister to say that we are sorry. It wasn't our intention to occasion any difficulty on anyone, but the exigencies of time, forced us to do those things. Those who have had their monies somehow locked up somewhere and are unable to access it. But government is still paying dividends on matured bonds and all that, except the payment, as you said, has spread over time, and the profit margin has also reduced to some figures. The good thing is that in the end, we have our country running. We have everything government touched on working. We have our children in school. We have our roads being done. We have our infrastructure up there. We have everything the government had touched, Agenda 1 and whatnot. Everything is touched on. So in the end, it's not too sweet a pill to take. And we apologize for such acts. We believe that the Ghanaian will reason with us and come together for us to move the country forward.
Does the apology mean that we're not going to see further restructuring anytime soon?
The indicators are there. We are done with the external restructuring. We've seen the reliefs that are coming and the fiscal space we are going to have moving forward. In the next foreseeable future, we do not see that. Of course, the economy has picked up. We've turned the corner. Our economy is growing. Inflation figures is coming down. Our GDP growth last quarter, 4.7, and we've even revised our growth. International bodies, Fitch, World Bank, IMF.
But have you heard the latest report by Fitch?
Which is?
That Ghana will be downgraded further. That was just 2 days ago. Yeah.
But from where we sit and from what has happened after our restructuring, we see the positive light moving ahead. We don't.
But that was just 2 days ago by Fitch.
Well, it's just a report. As to whether it will come to pass is another thing.
Okay.
But we are very confident that on the path we are on now, things are well, things are stable. The Ghanaians should have the assurance in the government that moving forward, we can only move forward in a positive direction.
But you remember Dr. Bawumia saying that the economy is the pocket. Are you assuring Ghanaians that they are going to see relief in their pocket?
The economy is in your pocket, especially when it comes to the rate at which things are increasing vis-a-vis how much income coming to you. And we've admitted that especially in 2022, there were some difficulties. For inflation to rise, the rate at which goods and services were increasing, up to the tune of 54%. We understand. But moving forward, government put plans down. Government thought properly on how to turn things around. Today, what's the inflationary figure today? Things have moved. Things have become better.
But we're still hovering around the 15.
Exactly. We went as far back as high as 54. And where
now
are we
we're
now?
22.
Exactly. So it means that moving forward, things can only be better.
Are we going to achieve the 15 mark? The 15%
there are
mark?
even some that believe we might even do better than the 15. There are some that believe. But we saw a recent news item by my GHOne that we might end the year out to around 19. But we are positive. And various insiders and those who know economy, we are not an authority.
And we are not going to engage in election year overspending?
Government has been very, very prudent. If you read the media reports, the fiscal deficit that we even wanted to achieve was somewhere around 3.something%. I stand to be corrected. But we are doing somewhere 2.6%. So even in terms of fiscal deficit and overspending, we are even below the set target.
Campaign is yet to peak.
Campaign has peaked for us.
Okay.
Dr. Bawumia has moved around for us. He has moved around. He's gone the first round. He's on the second round. He just finished Eastern region, and I'm sure he's going to further regions. He's done the 5 northern regions, just finished about last week. To us, campaign has started in earnest. To us, campaign is ongoing. We are not going to see the usual rallies, big rallies here
So
and
we're
there.
not going to see that?
At a point, we will see them. Next week, we are going to Takoradi to go and launch
your
our manifesto. So obviously, you'd have party sympathizers and those connected to the party trooping there to at least energize our base. There are some pockets of work. Just last weekend, Sami Oku had a work president. The vice president was there. Ophir work. We're all there, and the enthusiasm was there. So we are going to see pockets of those things.
That is Sami Oku. He's the grassroots man.
At the same time, the finance minister also had a work in his constituency. So we are going to see pockets of those things. But we believe that we need to send our message to the Ghanaian. We believe that we need to go and explain our policies, our bold solutions to the Ghanaian. And that's what we are going to do. And in doing so, Dr. Bawumia should be able to attract resources that will be used for his campaign. Government is not going to overspend because of elections. Everything government is doing today has already been started. The free SHS didn't start this year. The roads we are constructing, the infrastructure across board, and whatever intervention, Agenda 111, everything had started before the election year. And government has given the commitment to the effect that even those
an election
Agenda
year, 111, you're a medical doctor. What's the current state?
We have some that we are done with roofing. Some are done. I shared a few ones recently. The Ewutu Senya West, we can see the roofing is done. I think they even have started around painting or so. I said the one from Asojaman, and you can go, there are videos and evidence of it on social media. Party communicators, party functionaries in all the districts are coming on board. They are bringing pictorial and video evidence to that effect. So we are at various stages of completion. The good thing is that, I always say, that if we had the country 261 districts and we had 88, mind you, this government has constructed and finished 20 district hospitals in this administration. And aside that, we still had 88 districts without hospitals. Then really, there was a problem with our primary health care. So for any government to be that ambitious at a time during their tenure to say that we want to make sure every district in this country, every region has a regional hospital, it's an ambition that needs the support of each and every one to encourage government that even if it will take you 10 years, something that we could not achieve in around 57 years, even if it will take you 10 years, to making sure that every district is connected, providing jobs for nurses and doctors, allied health workers, and other non-clinical staff for us. And the Agenda 111 is tipped to provide 67,000 jobs, even aside the doctors and nurses that will go and work there. I'm totally committed to that, and I encourage government to continue with that. And we are sorry once again, just to end, that's Akokoba time, Nenano Itiaba, by Yonkumoba, anyone affected by the DDEP. We are sorry, just as the finance minister has stated. We completely
was it born out of Kennedy Japan's caution
that
the NPP should apologize to Ghanaians if they indeed want to break
the president is on record to have said that he empathizes and recognizes the problems we had. The vice president has also stated same that, of course, things were tough and Ghanaians were going through some difficulties and they empathize. It takes a courageous and sensitive leader to say that I know things are not well and I admit to those things. However, the challenge is that I need to work and turn things around.
Okay, Dr.
Let me begin from where Ezekiel ended. The MPP is the only government, the only party that is in power, that in their last year of administration, they are now making promises. In 2016, by this time, John Mahama was commissioning hospitals. John Mahama was commissioning markets. John Mahama was commissioning roads. John Mahama was engaging in serious, groundbreaking, state-of-the-art projects. I can tell him Ezekiel knows that today, not a single Agenda 111 hospital has been completed and have been operationalized. In flagrant disregard of the president's promise. So this is a government that has failed. And on a daily basis, they will continue to give promises. And they will not be able to fulfill it. And Ghanaians will be more disappointed. The reason why they will vote against them in the 2024 election. Now, coming back to the minister's comments. Look, now who caused them? Who caused the domestic debt exchange program? Who caused inflation to be at 54%? And my explanation on this subject matter will tell you why we had domestic debt exchange program. Will tell you why the NDC is a better manager of the economy. Will tell you why John Dramani Mahama is superior to anybody in the MPP. In 2016, John Mahama went on the Eurobond markets just like any other leader, any other president, anywhere in the world. he was offered to be given an Eurobond of $2.5 billion. They said, John Mahama, your economy is good. Your debt to GDP ratio is in good range. Your debt is sustainable. You can pay your debt. So we will give you 2.5 billion Eurobond. Do you know what John Mahama told them? John Mahama told them, thank you very much. We know our economy is good. But $2.5 billion will increase our interest payments, will destroy our debt to GDP, and will not be able to pay. So as a prudent leader as I am, I won't take 2.5 billion. Do you know how much it took? Only 700 million. We're in an election year. John Mahama could have taken 2.5 billion. Would have done free water, free electricity, would have done everything just to win votes. But at the end of the day, plunged us into chaos. Plunged us into the disaster that we have now. MPP came into power in 2017. They threw away all cautions. They threw away all wisdom. And they went and borrowed 2.25 billion from Franklin Templeton. In that year, in 2018, our debt position rose from 120 billion to 225 billion under their watch in only 1.5 years. They went and promised bond holders 60 to 70-year-old people who had not lived the lavish, luxurious lives like these people have lived. Look, when we were in medical school, there was a lecturer who used to advise us. And I want you to listen to this very carefully. All viewers should listen. There was a lecturer who used to advise us. Live a prudent life. Save money. He saved money for all his 40 years of work. Went and bought bonds because Ken Ofori-Atta came and told the whole country that Ghana is now producing 500,000 barrels of oil. So give us your money, we will pay the interest, we will pay you back. The man went and bought into their lies and bought bonds. When the pensioners were demonstrating, were picketing in front of Finance Ministry, I was sitting in front of my TV and I was sad because I was remembering this man. The man was part of those who demonstrated. All the monies he has saved, you people took it and failed to pay them. Over 1 million people had their wealth expropriated. 61 billion Ghana cedis was lost through the domestic debt exchange program by people. All happened because of your recklessness. You went on a borrowing spree. That is why we are where we are today. So now who caused them? You are giving COVID as an excuse. When we all know that in this country, Bank of Ghana printed in excess of 77 billion Ghana cedis to you. In flagrant disregard of Public Financial Management Act. In flagrant disregard of Bank of Ghana Act. That you cannot print more than 5% of your previous year's revenue. Is that not true? They did it. And shot inflation to 54%. That year, the World Bank tells us that 850,000 people were pushed down the poverty line. Fuel prices began to rise. The dollar was on an astronomical speed. Businesses collapsed. Many businesses left this country. Dark and Lovely, Glovo, Big, Barry Callebaut, Cargill, they all left this country. Lipton, they all left because of your recklessness. Now you are coming here to tell us that you beg us. Now Ghanaians should pardon you. Will the begging or the pardon or the apology bring back the thousands of people who died because they didn't have money, because they saved with you and if you refused to pay them their interest and they couldn't buy hypertension and diabetes medication and they died? Who are you blaming? Your apology, will this bring back the lives of those people? The thousands of contractors who saved monies, gave monies to you. You refuse to pay them. They are forced to run away from this country because banks are chasing them. Arrogance of power, intransigence, recklessness, ineptitude, and incompetence has completely overwhelmed this MPP regime. That is why we are where we are today. Any MPP communicator that uses COVID and Russia-Ukrainian war and gives flimsy excuses why we are today is because of disrespect for the people of Ghana. You told us that because of COVID, you spent 12 billion. Meanwhile, you had in excess of 33 billion. You have a windfall of over 18 billion profit for you to make this country better. You spent it and gave it to your constituency executives. The Northern Regional Vice Chairman, Felicia Tete, she told us that he was giving 100,000 Ghana cedis from COVID money to campaign. She to campaign. Is it not true? The Auditor General, didn't he expose the corruption and sleaze during the COVID-19 feeding program? COVID was a tripping boy. It was an avenue for MPP apparatchiks to enrich themselves. And they plunged us into this chaos that we are in today. No amount of explanation from anybody can save the fact that you people have stolen your way through and you have brought Ghana where we are today. There is no external shocks that were there. In fact, do you know how governments show whether they have been shocked by external factors? Through their taxes. Do you know their revenue target in 2020 when COVID was in full flight? 45 billion. Do you know how much they got? 47. You targeted to get 45 billion in taxes. You ended up getting 47. How can you tell us that COVID worried you? COVID is the reason why we are here today, when you had more money than needed during COVID. So that claim is very insulting and disrespectful to the people of Ghana. So now who caused some? When President Akufo-Addo was flying in luxurious presidential jets, when our presidential jets was parked doing nothing, when they were allocating 3.2 billion Ghana cedis to the office of presidency alone, who were they blaming? When they were giving contracts to their family members, cronies, where were they? And the ordinary Ghanaian who has no idea about how you spend the money is the one bearing the brunt of domestic debt exchange program. Is the one bearing the brunt of higher dollar rate. Is the one bearing the brunt of higher fuel prices. Today, 1.9 million young people in this country are unemployed because of a recklessness. When you came to power, unemployment rate was 8%. Today, it is almost 15% because of your recklessness. And now you are blaming everybody. You are gaslighting the people of Ghana. You are here giving terse apology and terse statements for your own recklessness. And so now who caused them? They were the one that caused it. And every Ghanaian, in fact, if not because you are an independent arbiter, you know deep within yourself that they have been reckless managers of the economy. That is why we are here today. Corruption, 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 and nothing more.
Lily?
Yes.
The claims,
you have a minute.
The claims by my brother, completely false. We saw the economy, his administration, Mr. Mahama inherited. And not a single economic indicator was bettered under Mr. Mahama. Not a single one. Economic growth, GDP, inflation, whatever, trade balance, nothing. Not a single one.
Including that stock?
Not a single. Yes, you took our debt from where? 9 billion. Took it to 120 billion.
Mahama took it for 9 billion.
160. What was the percentage? Over 1,000%.
Mahama took it for 9 billion.
From 2009. Your entire duration of NDC.
That's not under Mahama.
I'm saying the entire duration of NDC's government. From 2009. Added to our debt stock to the tune of over 1,000%.
You are doing percentages in economy.
You're a science student. You should know better.
You are funny.
You're a science student.
You are funny. You are funny.
There's no economic indicator that was better than him. Do you want us to go back to the man that took inflation at 4% and led with 15%? Do you want us to go back to the man that took economic growth of 14% plus and brought it down, crashed it to 3.4%? What Shamis should tell me, which economic indicator was better than under the administration? In fact, Agric was so poor that at a point the Agric was even doing negative. And they ended Agric with 2.7 economic growth. Even in times of difficulty, at the time banking sector had issues and the banking had effect also on contractors and business people. Check service and manufacturing. Check with all the difficulties. You've admitted to the challenges. And the good thing is that when things started soaring, we turned the corner. Sami to tell me that when they took over from inflation of 8% and sent it to 15%, there was ever a time they did better to even bring those values down. Sami should tell me that at the time Mr. Mahama took over at 14% economic growth, there was ever a time that he even maintained the growth. You crashed it, 3.4%. You crashed it. So now who caused some? You told us,
Did we do domestic exchange program?
Who caused some? You couldn't even honor your payment to African Development Bank. I'm talking about exchange program. I'm talking about that exchange program. At the time when there was equilibrium,
Ezekiel.
no bird was crying in the bushes. No bird was crying in the
But
bushes.
isn't a reason why we gave you the reins of power
So
to manage?
in deciding,
but today we have been shut out of the capital
in
market.
moving forward,
Giving our debt stock.
in moving forward, in deciding, we are going to elect a leader.
Another promise.
We are going to elect a leader.
Another promise.
In deciding, we are going to elect a leader. So in moving forward
Another promise.
and electing that leader, you want us to go to the one that took the economy from 14 and brought it to 3.4.
Another promise.
You want
Is
us?
that an acceptance that President Akufo-Addo has failed us? So we should wait for the
Akufo-Addo has
Messiah.
not failed. I've given
But you
you
said in going forward.
Yes, exactly. Akufo-Addo's tenure will end. Whether or not he built heaven or he built castles for us, his tenure is going to end.
Yeah.
And we are moving forward at every point in time. We move forward. Sami did not tell you how the economy was doing before COVID.
I'll tell
And
you.
during COVID and post-COVID, we've seen it.
I'll
The
tell you.
problems, it's
I'll tell you.
worldwide.
I'll
We've
tell
not
you.
run away. Inflation, we keep touting it. I've repeated it here that we got 54%. The good thing is that today it is coming down. When they took it, Prime Minister Mahama inherited from 8-point-something% and skyrocketed it to almost two-folds, to 15%. Shamis will tell us that there was anything that was put down to bring things down. Shamis will tell us that after receiving the economy that was growing at 14%, there was anything that was done to make sure things were better. I'm at IMF. I agree.
The same place you swore
Post-COVID.
heaven on earth never to go.
Post-COVID, I'm at IMF. But you know why I went for COVID relief under Mr. Mahama? They told us that China is having some domestic problems. It's the reason why
COVID relief.
No, I'm saying that when they went to IMF,
Okay.
they told that China was having some domestic issues. China was having some domestic issues in China. Reason why Ghana is so affected that we need to go for IMF bailout. We are not saying that post-COVID or intra-COVID, things have been smooth. But that is why we have the humility and the empathy to tell the people of Ghana that, you know what, we are sorry. The things that happened, you saw our reign before COVID. Have that humility to come and apologize to Ghanaians. By the time we're going through Doomso for 4 years under your reign, you rather told us that Ghanaians have bought 2-3 phones. And it's the reason why our electricity is not stable. You told the youth of Ghana that you're not a magician to create jobs. At the time, things were bad. And you canceled the allowances and promised nurses jobs. Meanwhile, for 4 good years, no nurse was employed under you. Come and tell us. The time you faced this
Let me give him the
what
1
you
minute
did.
so
Let
we can
me
Come and tell
expose
us.
Ezekiel on live TV.
Come and
He
tell us.
said before COVID, the economy was good. Let me tell you, before COVID, their deficit was 7.5%. It is higher than what they came to meet in 2017.
Economic growth.
Please keep quiet.
You
Before
interrupted me. Economic
COVID,
growth.
their debt to GDP was 70%.
Economic growth.
Before their debt to GDP was 70%.
Economic growth.
When we were in power, it was 56%. Before COVID, our national debt was 225.
Really?
100% more than what they came to meet.
Yeah.
Before
Ask about how the
COVID, please,
economy was
please keep quiet.
Economic
Before
growth,
COVID,
inflation.
please keep quiet.
Please
Before COVID,
allow him.
Before COVID, the
I have
IMF
to
country
go.
director had told this country that Ghana's economy was already in shambles. Does it make sense for you to come and sit on TV and tell anybody that before COVID, the economy was good? Before COVID, you couldn't even have money. You didn't have $35 million to arrange so that Ghana will not get COVID-19. You couldn't get it. You are saying before COVID, your economy was good.
Okay.
So please, every listener, every viewer watching
What you
this,
have
please,
failed
please,
not
please,
to do
please,
is to tell
please,
us how the economy
please,
was faring.
please,
Where you
please,
took the economy
please,
and where you ended it.
Please allow him
please.
land so that I
Where
can
You
you
have
took
come
the
to
economy
power.
and where
You
you
are
ended
not
it.
ashamed. You
Where
came
you
to meet
took
a
the
debt
economy
position of 120.
and
You have
where
sent
you
it to
ended it.
742. But you are happy touting
Where you took
failed
the economy.
Baumia, who has now even run away from his
Where
responsibility.
you took
Okay.
the
After
economy.
all we did for him, he
After
said that he's a
inheriting
mate.
an economy, where did
Please,
you take
please,
it?
Thank
please.
you,
Come and tell
gentlemen.
Ghanaians.
You
Thank
have
you,
landed this
doctors.
country into
In
domestic
moving
debt.
It's
forward,
interesting when we
in
have
moving
medical
forward,
doctors.
you have
been
moving
talking
forward,
about
You
issues
have
of
made
the
sure that
good
1 million
people
people
of
have lost their
Ghana,
money.
the
You are not
good-
ashamed.
good
Sammy
people of
Aye,
You are not
Ghana,
a
ashamed.
member
No.
of the NDC
You are not
The
ashamed,
people of
Ezekiel.
Ghana,
You
no.
are not
Dr.
ashamed.
Ezekiel
See how you are
Obing
laughing.
is a member of the NPP communications team. Okay, so we can continue this off air. We are back shortly after this video. Stay tuned in. Welcome back to the show. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a foodie. If you need me pepper. So when it comes talking about food, oh goodness. But unfortunately, I don't have food in the studio today. But let's talk about a woman who does mouth-watering dishes. She has over 1 million subscribers. Hey, Adriane Honkwa followers. My guest this morning is Sweet Ajeli, the signature tune. Atiani Atulo Okmoneke, right? Good to see you. Good morning.
See you. Good morning.
What's your full name?
My name is Maklinana Ajelekwe.
Okay. Anyway, it's good to have you. But let's talk about Sweet Ajeli. When did you start cooking for you?
I started cooking at about 10 years old. So, yeah,
Oh, really?
I've always...
Where? Here in Ghana?
Here in Ghana, in La.
Okay. You lived in La for the most part of your life.
Yes.
What was growing up like?
It was... I wouldn't say it was perfect because I grew up in a single mother type of home. So, yeah, it wasn't, I can't say it was bad, but it wasn't perfect. So
When did you travel out?
I turned 17 on April. I turned. I turned 17 on April 17th or 17th April, and then I left Ghana in May, like the very next month. So the whole of my 17 year I spent in the US.
So you spent 17 years of your life in Ghana, then from 17 up until now. You don't want to mention. But after life abroad, how was it for you?
Okay, when I first got there, I wouldn't say when I was in Ghana I was popular, but I was good. I was comfortable. And then it seemed I just went from somewhere where I was comfortable to a place where I was really uncomfortable. So I wasn't happy there.
No, you are not. You're part of the people whose stories are full of depression, pain, regret. Would you say that?
And so I can't say regrets because I didn't
come back.
I didn't go there. I had to go stay with my mom.
Okay.
So it was, I'm happy to be with my mom, but I'm unhappy where I am.
What was making you unhappy? For a 17-year-old?
Yes. So it was kind of like leaving your comfort zone to a place where you sounded different, you looked different, to where, because I went to high school there, and most people in high school are still very immature. And they will ask you things like, so do you run around with lions and stuff? Or how was it like wearing jeans for the first time? And I was wearing jeans all my life. So it was kind of weird, and it seemed people were looking down on who you are because of where you're from. And so I really didn't want to associate myself with the people there because I felt they didn't like me. So it was kind of like going from a place where you were loved to a place where you felt unloved.
In your discomfort, did you find solace in food?
I didn't eat a lot, so I think I was happy when at 17 I'll cook and people would think it was so delicious. Because most people in the US, cooking is not a big deal. You know, especially in Ghana for a girl, cooking was a big deal. But over there, it really wasn't. So they were impressed with it. And I loved the joy that I saw in people's faces when I cooked for them. So I think I started making nkatie cake for my auntie to take to church. And
for sale?
For sale.
Okay.
And when she took it for the first time, it sold out. And then after that, it will sell out before my auntie will leave the house because everybody's saying, I want 10, I want 20, I want this, I want that. So yeah, that was my first experience with people just loving what I had made.
Let's talk about food blogging for you. At what point did you start food blogging?
So I was a stay-at-home mom for about 10 years. And so when my youngest son went to school, that's where depression and anxiety set in for me because things that happens in U.S. schools. So I would be home and it seemed like sitting on eggshells until your children come home and then you're okay. So it was depressing
You never
me.
know if they'll come back safe.
So I don't know if it was me being controlling and I felt like I had lost control of my kids for
Or you were just
about
being a Ghanaian
6
mom.
hours. Yeah, for about 6 hours. You don't know what's happening with your children until they came home. So at that point, I needed to do something. So I went back to work as a medical assistant. And at the same time, a friend of mine had told me about YouTube. I didn't know about YouTube.
How many years ago was this?
So I'll say in 98, I found out about, no, not 98, 2008,
okay.
I found out about Facebook. So I got on Facebook just to see old friends, but I didn't know about YouTube. So I'll say in 2012 there
Okay.
maybe,
Okay.
a friend of mine told me about YouTube. So I just went on there and I saw videos and then I stumbled upon food, but she had told me to put my food stuff because when family members wanted a recipe they asked me and I'll type and send, and she said, why don't you put it there so that you can just share the link. So I watched from 2015 and then my first video went up 2017.
So it's not like a yesterday thing that you started. Yeah. But what challenges did you face? Was it very challenging for you? I mean, somebody introduced you to something, you get on there, putting your recipes there. Was it very challenging?
So initially, when I put a recipe that people don't know about, and I'll call it something and other people know it as something else. My first main thing that I had to come and make a whole video about was shito. And I made a recipe of red pepper, the one we use for kenke, shito. So I called it shito. And this, I suppose, was a young lady, said, you don't know anything. This is not shito. This is that red sauce, meko, that my mom uses to eat. We use it to eat kenke. It's not shito.
But that's how guys call it.
Because the black pepper is now
Named shito.
named shito because of where it originated from the Ga tribe. We call it shito. Pepper is shito for us. But some people don't know that. So in our household, shito is the red one. And shito ding is the black one.
Yeah, that's black pepper.
But it was just so people don't know that shito is also our shito. So some people came for me. So hopefully now they know. I don't know.
I hope so. They know. What's your creative process like?
Say that again.
Your creative process, how is it like? How do you come up with your recipes?
So usually it's just what we are going to eat. That's how it started.
Okay.
But then it came with requests. People will say, oh, I tried your recipe and it was the easiest, simplest, and it came out good. Can you show me how to make corned beef stew? Can you show me how to make chicken light soup? And so that also helps in creating a recipe.
What are some memorable feedbacks you've received on your cooking?
That's what keeps me going. It's so many. But one of the most important ones was a gentleman that sent me an email saying that whenever they're in the U.S., they want to meet me, and if I'm in Ghana, they want to host me because I saved their marriage. Because the wife started following me, and her cooking just changed. And so for it to be coming from a man, and I also commend the woman for telling the husband that, oh, I I'm learning from Sweet Ajele to where the husband will reach out to say thank you. And I can never forget that.
That's very good when it comes to the woman's honesty.
Yeah.
What's your most challenging recipe ever?
I'm trying to think.
Is it always a walk in the park for you?
No. But I can't say. So, making spring roll wrappers, it was very challenging because of the pan that you needed to use. In Ghana, they make a certain stone, and
Or sometimes they just turn the frying pan.
yes, they
use the bottom of the frying pan.
yes, and I wasn't going to do that, and I couldn't take the stone with me, so I kept buying pans and trying it until I got.
You perfected
So
it.
that was a lot of dough that was going to waste, and I think one day my husband left me in the kitchen, went to work. My husband is a tennis instructor, so he's in and out of the house.
Okay.
But that day he was gone for like 6 hours. He came back and I was standing in the same spot, and he was like, "Babe." So I think the spring roll wrappers, they were the most challenging. So I usually don't review pots and pans, but after that recipe, I had to share the pan with my followers because I wanted them to get the right one.
Right one. How do you stay in tune with the latest recipes? Did you ever had to go to a cooking school, cooking class to upgrade yourself?
So when I was in Ghana, I went to Tema Secondary School and I took up home economics.
Okay.
But I didn't finish. I left Ghana. I went to Form 2. I only did the first term.
Okay.
And I left. And then when I got to the U.S., I ended up taking up dental assisting. When I was done with that, I went to the New York Restaurant School,
Okay.
where I took up culinary arts.
Okay.
So yes, it's not just cooking from home. I also went to culinary school.
But you know that over time, cooking has changed. How do you incorporate them in your recipes?
So most of the changes in our Ghanaian recipes, I can proudly say that I brought. It was very controversial. I simplified most of our recipes. For example, using just tomato paste for jollof instead of using tomato paste and tomatoes or tomato sauce. I can use just tomato paste to make jollof, and when you eat it, you wouldn't even know that it was just tomato paste. With peanut butter soup or groundnut soup, I stopped frying the peanuts before adding it to the soup.
I have never done that. I actually never understood the science behind it. Because once
Frying
frying it, I never
yes.
understood it.
With me, that's how I learned how to make it. It just took one lazy day for me to say, I'm not about to take the whole day to fry this peanut that's already cooked before adding it to the soup. Apparently, the science behind that, peanut butter or groundnut soup can make you run.
Yes.
So the thinking is, if you don't cook it well, it will make you run. So you first have to fry it to ensure that it's properly cooked, and also for the oil to settle on top for you to know that the peanut is good. Then you add water to it.
Exactly. It makes it raw again.
Charlie.
I never
You
understood
fry
that.
the water out of it just to add more
water.
water to it
Yeah.
to make the soup. So when I did it that way, the soup tasted better. Well, for me. And so when I posted it, oh Lord, people were like,
The typical Ghanaian.
they're like, go back home and learn how to cook. You're here teaching people. If you're going to teach Ghanaian recipe, teach it well. And there was this particular girl that really gave it to me. But I didn't see her comments until I think 2 years later, somebody came to agree with her under her comment. At times, somebody may think you ignored their comment, but you didn't see it. It'll take somebody else's reaction to that comment to prompt you, because
Yeah.
you didn't get their notification, but you may get that person's notification. So I saw that person's notification bashing me, and I followed it to the comment. By the time I got there, the original
The
commenter
creator.
responded to the person that responded to her comment, like, oh, as for Sweet Ajele, her recipes are the best. Like, her original.
Like a redemption.
Yes. And when I saw that, I said, oh, I don't have to say anything. Because, like, the mouth that brought you down will
It's
be
the
the
same
same
mouth praising you.
So, and it was beautiful. And I didn't respond to the person's response, but I thanked the original commenter for. Yeah, so that also, I mean.
Have you ever had moments where you thought that, listen, it's not even worth it doing this food blogging?
Okay, so there's been times where I've cried over comments.
Really?
And my husband would say, babe, call it Akeshi, ni never no fue, pafimo. You know? And he also encouraged me, like, you don't know the person behind the comments, especially YouTube. When somebody comments on YouTube, you have
can't find
no
them.
idea who
It's
they
not like
are.
Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter where you can go look out for their profiles.
So for those of us that started with YouTube, oh, we had some craziness going on. But on the other side, you could just touch the person, go on their page and say, oh, they can walk a day in my shoe. It's okay. But yeah, we get that all the time.
You mention your husband a lot. What's been his role in this?
Okay, so me growing up from primary school to secondary school, I would be the last person on your show. I don't talk. I hardly even look at people.
You actually appear so. You like to be in your space, in your corner, yeah.
Yes. My husband is the same way, but he was Ghana #1 for tennis for about 6 years before coming to the U.S. So I always say that when I met him, he didn't tell me who he was, but we would go out and people would treat him special, and I didn't get it until later on in our relationship. I found out who he was. So I always say that his stardom rubbed off on me.
Okay.
Because
he was in the spotlight.
And he played long tennis. I played table tennis when I was in Tamat school, but it wasn't a big deal. His was a big deal. And nobody would know me if he didn't rub off on me.
Is he also Ga?
Yes.
Okay, because I see you speak a lot of Ga. You haven't lost your Ga talent at all. I mean, for so many years. How has your 20 years journey been?
It has not been perfect, but it's been perfect. So, you know, in every relationship, we have up and downs. We've been together 23 years.
Oh, wow.
And we've had our fights, but I would say that the things that made us fight wasn't our own fights. So at a point, I'll say, let us fight our own fight. And we have not had a lot of that. But he's very protective to where at times I don't even get it. And then he'll say, I'm just protecting my thing.
Of course.
That's it.
Of course, who doesn't like that? Sometimes as women we think, oh, you should allow us have it, but they know gold when they see it. Yeah. So.
He knows where to say, this may sound weird, but there are certain places that when we go, if I wipe my hands with tissue, my husband will take it home. He will not leave it there. He'll take it home. And initially, I didn't get it, but as I get older, I get it. I appreciate him a whole lot, because I may be in some trouble if not for him, because our backgrounds are different. I was raised, I can go to sleep with my windows open. He will not sleep with the windows open. So, you know, there's a proverb in Ghana that says, noko yeje, nohani
Of
kawo,
course.
anga shina,
Of
but not
course.
always for a thief. And my husband made me understand that.
Yeah, in this life, Charlie, no
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I think that your husband needs a pat on the back.
Yes,
So
he does.
you call him your accountability partner, is
Yes.
it?
Yes.
What's your biggest reward in this food blogging
In
business?
this food, the guys that leave home and they come back and tell me that, Sweet Ajele, I'm here or I'm there, I'm cooking because of you. That's my biggest reward. And also the young kids, some are babies and they'll hear Sweet
How many are they?
Ajele's song. Who, my kids?
Yeah.
So 4.
Oh, wow.
My husband had one before
Okay.
we got married, and then together we had 3.
So you have 4, yeah.
But I'm talking about other people's babies that love Sweet Ajele, like, and I get videos of young people saying, "Hello, sweet team, welcome back," and they're trying to cook. And
But who gave you sweet ajili?
so growing up, everybody always thought I was sweet. I was, "Ihe why won fe gidi gidi," like that. So, Sweet Ajele wasn't something that people called me. They called me Miss Ghana more because I was so skinny, and they. So, trying to set up Instagram, everything plus Ajele was already taken. My name, Marklina, a lot of people don't have it. I put that in and it wasn't. But I didn't want Marklina because I felt I wanted to be known that I'm from Ghana. And I wanted to use Ajele. So we put Pretty Ajele, no, it was taken. Beautiful Ajele was taken. A lot of other things. And then my cousin said, let's try sweet. So we put Sweet Ajele and it wasn't taken. And so it wasn't intentional. It was just...
And now you have a sweet team. What's the future like for you?
So the future...
Especially for somebody who is in the health sector and looking at how we cook our meals.
So my husband and I, we are looking to move to Ghana soon. The reason we're not here yet is because
of the children.
He grew up from a single parent home. I did too. And so how we made it here, we don't even know. But what we didn't have is what we're trying to give our children. And my youngest is starting high school come September. So we want to be there for him through high school. And God willing, if he goes to college and he's away, we can also be away here. So when we come, we're looking to starting a small business.
Will you open a restaurant?
The type of restaurant is different from everyday one. So I don't want to say because somebody may steal my
of course,
idea,
yes.
So, but it's going to be very special.
It's going to be sweet.
It's going to be very special. But you would.
How many years are we looking at in the next?
So I'm giving myself about 5 years.
5 years.
4 to 5 years. But the people that comes to the restaurant must be willing to be on Sweet Ajele. That's how it's gonna be.
Okay. Sweet Ajele. It's been good having you. Marklina. Anyway, so that's so Sweet Team. That's your Sweet Ajele. She's here in Ghana. So anywhere you meet her, just call her Sweet.
Mahabutu.
Yeah. Ibahabutu. This is GH Today. We're back shortly. Stay tuned in.
Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries. All this and more. Sweet
Wow, beautiful pictures. I'm sure some of the people in there, when they see their old picture, they're like, oh, was that really me? So 10 years ago, You're Simply the Best station was birthed. It's been 10 years of impact. It's been 10 years of resilience. And it's been 10 years of excellence in broadcasting. Through it all, we still stay afloat. We still keep our heads above water. My senior, my Alaji, and the head of political desk here at EIB, Ibrahim Alassan, has joined me in studio. Ibrahim, you were here.
Yes, from the beginning.
Yes.
We were, yes. And 10 years looks like just yesterday, to be honest, right? I think the only difference will be that this time around, we're operating from the Platinum Place instead of the Meridian House.
The Meridian House.
And I would have been like, you went to bed, you woke up, and it's 10 years already.
Yeah.
Yes, so, yes, and memories, as you mentioned, many, many, many people have passed through, just as it's supposed to be with every organization.
Yeah.
Change is the only constant thing, as they say, right? I like the way you emphasize on the resilience, right? Because that's the story of Star FM.
Yeah.
The story of Star FM is all about resilience. Things that might happen to brands in more or less like a minutest form that will lead to the brand sinking. Worse happened to Star, but Star is still afloat, right? But credit to the workers. I've heard many people question the recruitment strategy of EIB in a positive sense as to how did you get such people who will stay and regardless still ensure that the brand stays afloat. See, Lily, if you ask anybody to mention 3 English-speaking radio stations in Accra, Star FM will feature.
Definitely.
Star FM will feature. And that is a testimony to those who have stayed loyal to the brand.
Like yourself.
Yes, and the thing is, Lily, you can bear testimony to the fact that here we work for each other. So if I know that if I fail to show up, you suffer one way or the other, I'll show up for you, and vice versa. And that is that has been the trademark of the staff of EIB, and for that matter, Star FM. Teamwork. Yes, you might have your own issues, be it at home, be it whatever. But knowing very well that if you fail to show up, somebody else will suffer. You show up for that person. And personally, and I think that is what has kept us going. It's 10 years tomorrow. We are celebrating. We are launching the 5-month-long celebration starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. And it's happening at the same premises, of course, on the first floor, where Star FM is located, Platinum Place. And we are once again breaking bread with partners, breaking bread with listeners, breaking bread with stakeholders generally, and looking back and saying that it's been 10 years, but of course, that can still be a launch pad to the next 10 years, which will guarantee us much more excellence, much more productivity, and much more impact for not just our listeners, also for our partners as well, for our clients. And we say cheers to the next 10 years, basically. And so, like you said, and rightly so, the celebration is about the story of resilience. And I credit that also to how we took the market by storm. I'm sure you saw the camels.
Yes, the famous camels,
Yes, and I believe that was what got the brand ingrained on the minds of many. Reason why the recall is still there. We blazed the trail relative to even how salaries of people, especially in the newsroom, paid. When EIB came, many people sat up and then paid more attention to how they treat their workers.
That's true. Else they'll leave.
Exactly. And I think that's what should happen. Gone were the days when people said, I'm offering you a platform, right? You can't go to market with a platform. Right? If the person is putting in the work and you recognize that the person is putting in the work, pay the person his due or her due. And kudos to how EIB came onto the scene, there are many people who have nothing to do with EIB, but they are benefiting from the fact that the fear of the fact that if you don't treat your workers well, they will leave from one point to the other,
Yes.
has gotten many media managers to treat their workers well. And that's good. That's good. That's what we are all looking forward to.
We always change the status quo. Yeah.
Most definitely, most definitely. And so, in fact, just about 7 of us who started with the brand Star FM are still here. Emmanuel Bipu, our colleague in the newsroom as well, the assignment editor. Emmanuel Donko, who
Yes.
started as a receptionist. And I think his story is not even told loud enough.
Exactly.
He started as a receptionist. He's now more or less like our studio manager, our social media handler. Within the studios of Star FM.
That boy is I don't know if I should call him a boy, but he's
Yeah,
a
he is.
wonder boy.
He's a wonder boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Emmanuel Donko, Eunice, of course, of client service as well. And then you talk about some others as well. So, of course, Bolari, I won't add Bolari because he is the brand.
Yes.
He is the
yes,
foundation
yes.
of the brand. And, of course,
He's the primus inter pares.
most definitely, our CEO as well. So tomorrow we will celebrate all those people who have stayed loyal, and then also use that to encourage others, right? To also stay loyal, give off your best, and as they say, the sky is not even the limit; it's the launch pad. So Star is 10.
You never know, you know. Yeah,
Yes.
it's been 10 years already. Wow. I mean, the days where we saw the camels and on social media, all over on TV.
Yeah.
I wonder, hey, what are these people all about?
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people actually didn't think EIB will stay till this day. You know, they predicted doom. Oh, but we're still here.
Let me tell you a funny story. So when we started, you know, we were bringing on board people, right? Some were approached. They said, you guys will not survive, right? So they didn't come. A year down the line, I saw them walk from the corridors of the newsroom. You know, where we were at Meridian House.
You could easily see them.
The CEO's office was just a whisper away from the newsroom. So when you go into the CEO, we see you. So all those people, we saw them lining up and then going to the CEO, and then they wanted to come, right? Yes. So that's basically, there were many people who wrote us off, to be honest with you, especially when the challenges started coming. And then, of course, they had their own reasons. But like I said, there's something about the brand that never say die until the bones are rotten spirit, no House of GHOne. This is the EIB one that kept the brand going. And like I said, and it's due to the people. There were people who were willing to put their shoulders to the wheel and took on the responsibilities of others who are left. They took it and then wore it with pride, and they executed. And that is what we are celebrating tomorrow. The tenacity, the zeal, and then the resilience. And I think the story of hope. There are many people here who have their own problems, their own challenges. But they look forward to tomorrow with hope that things will be better. Right? And that's what has kept virtually everybody going. And that's, I think, what every brand needs. See, it's not just about challenges that the brand will go through. It's also about the general challenges of the media landscape. Sustainability is an issue.
That's true.
As far as the media landscape is
how
concerned.
many have folded up? A lot.
Exactly. Because the social media advertisement budget is going down. Others will rather advertise on social media than with the conventional media. All those challenges are there. It's your ability to adapt, right? And make do with what you have. Is what has kept many surviving, including the EIB
So
network.
tomorrow we officially launch our 10 years in the media landscape. Come and join us. Let's break bread. Let's thank God. And let's be hopeful for a better tomorrow. That's head of political desk, Ibrahim Alassan, and one of the few who was here when this dream started. Dream of hope and impact. Yeah, excellence in broadcasting. Let's do some celebrations now. Okay, so in the spirit of celebrations, we've been joined in the studio by finalists of Miss Akwaba. Are you a patron?
I'm the host of the show.
Oh, okay, okay, someone.
Yes, please.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How has it been? How many weeks so far?
12 weeks so far. This Sunday is the 13th week. And so this Sunday we are crowning it all at the National Theatre at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
What has it been? What have you been taking them through?
All right, so our show mainly focuses on tourism and culture in Ghana. And as you can see, it's very important that we project our heritage, embrace our heritage, go back to our roots. And one thing that we've not really done a great job with this current generation is making sure we pass on the values, the customs, the norms, and the practices of our forefathers to them. And the media has been doing a great job in partnership with the government, the Year of Return, Beyond the Return, and all these initiatives. We have seen how greatly impactful they have been. And we from CJ Multimedia have also been a very, very instrumental part of our tourism and culture in Ghana. I'm sure you know of the famous Akwaba portrait.
Yes.
The woman who, yes, that's from CJ Multimedia,
Oh,
1998.
wow.
So you can't talk about culture in Ghana without CJ Multimedia. And as part of our vision, we have Akwaba Festival. And then this is one of the ways in which we are able to project the youth, train them, empower them, give them all the necessary tools that they need. So that one thing is they can also partner with the older generation, the media, the government, and they can understand and also pass on the information to their friends. And most importantly, when they do these things, they stay away from these social vices that we do not want them to be involved in. So Mesa Kwaba is a 13-week reality show, tourism, culture. That is what we do, and we've groomed these beautiful ladies. Unfortunately, Bubune is not here. She is under the weather, so the 6 are here.
So 7 finalists.
Yes, 7
How
finalists.
many originally?
We're about 18.
18,
Yes.
and then you prune down to 7.
7, yeah.
Who goes home with the final ultimate? Oh, I like that. Your names?
Good morning. My name is Ira.
Ira.
Yes.
Okay. You are.
And I'm
And
Najili.
are you representing various regions, or you are selected in a pool? No region representation. Okay. You are
I'm Najili.
Najili. Oh, sweet Ajili was here a while ago.
Yeah, I'm Majwa.
Majwa. Okay.
I'm Nalumo.
Na
Lumo.
Lumo. Okay.
And I am Boatima.
Boatema.
So the last baby is Mena Abba.
Menaba. Okay. Okay. So what will make either of you become winners?
Wow, so what will make me a winner is my originality, my uniqueness, my boldness, my ability to relate to the crowd and everybody and project myself in a manner which is going to be accepted by all. And I believe that's what makes me stand out so much for me to win the crown.
Okay. You?
I'm also with such a unique, great talent, and I believe that talent is going to take me out there. I'm very confident, and I believe in myself so much.
Okay. Okay, lady. Yes, Dajali.
I'm also coming to bring you nothing but the best. So this coming Sunday, I'm coming to bring something that no one is ever going to think I'm coming to bring up.
Really?
Yes, please. So
7 p.m. is the time, right?
So you should just watch out for me. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
What will also help me is my encourageness, my uniqueness, my talent, and my faith I have in myself.
Okay.
Okay, so basically we all have some unique characters that define us.
Okay.
And then to be able to complement it, for myself, I think I will need votes to add up. Yes. And so I saw
it's by voting?
Yes, by voting, yes. So yes. I saw the fact that I can be able to exude some confidence. I saw the fact that I can be able to perform really well. If a vote did not complement my performance, then there will be some technical hitches. And so, yeah, so ideally, I would rather solicit that, my friends, fans, and family should please help to complement my performance with a vote to win the ultimate title.
Last baby.
And then she stole my point. But I'll still go with it because, yes, we need a vote. We need the votes to keep us going. So we can perform, we can put in our maximum effort. But if you don't get the votes, then it's cost 90. So, yes, aside my confidence and my, I would go with competency. Yes.
Okay. But how do people vote?
Okay, so *365 *300#, or you can log on to www.cjtv.com.gh, and each and every vote is just 1 Ghana cedi. So the final Sunday ticketed event, 50
so you
Ghana
can
cedi.
vote as many
times as you please. We'll announce when the voting closes during the course of the program. So *365 *300#. You either vote for Bubune, who's not here, Menaba, Boatima, Nalumo, Majua, Najili, and Ira. You can vote for them as many times as you please. 50% power is with the audience, and with our show, we are very transparent with the voting. So we do not hide the vote, and then we determine what the percentage for each contestant is. It's live on the website. As soon as you vote, you can see it there on www.cjtv.com.gh.
Okay, what's the ultimate for them?
All right, so the ultimate winner is taking home a car. 10,000 CDs, and the person becomes an ambassador for Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Art, and Ghana Tourism Authority.
What would they be doing with the Ministry of Culture?
So,
Arts and
as we already know, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Arts, they are all part of the Beyond the Return, the Year of Return, and all these other cultural initiatives, locally and internationally. So, since this is the 3rd edition, in fact, when you build relationships with people, the first time, everybody's trying to test the waters. As time goes on, everybody opens up. And last season's winner has done a great job. She's had the privilege to be at so many events quite recently, the Du Bois Center, and they are doing great things. In fact, some portraits and stuff that they're working on. So moving on, they are going to be part of all these initiatives that the government is putting in place for Ghana and beyond Ghana. And so these people are going to represent as well.
Okay.